Hello, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Every Wednesday, I come to you all through our various platforms, including on Amazon Live, to share with you all the books that are in my Amazon bookstore that we're excited to be able to share with all of you, books that we think you should be able to read. And that's what we're getting ready to do right now. We're going to be simulcasting this on a lot of different platforms. You guys are going to be joining us on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We have YouTube in the house, also on Instagram, going to be bringing them in. Before we do that, though, as well as Amazon Live, before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping on the Facebook side to make sure that I'm able to tag the authors that are being featured in today's storefront presentation. Now, I've been talking to you guys about the Amazon platform and the storefront, and what I'm able to do as an Amazon reviewer and influencer to be able to help promote authors. And I'm excited to be able to do that again today, again with the 12 authors that I'm going to be featuring in today's show. So I'm going to go ahead and tag them so that they know that they are in this episode. Also, like I mentioned, we will be bringing in our Instagram audience here in just a bit. Want to make sure I took care of this part first, as well as we're going to be bringing in our audience on Amazon Live. I wanted to make sure I took care of this housekeeping, though, before I did that, so that they don't have to wait on me to be able to tag. If you all are new to me here on Cyrus Webb Presents, glad you all could join us. I am your media personality, top 200 Amazon.com reviewer, as well as Amazon influencer. Today, as I do every week now, it's a new feature we started in the month of September. We are bringing to life my Amazon bookstore. So if you guys have visited the link that's with this video, it's Cyrus Webb store.com, cyruswebstore.com. There you'll notice that those are the authors that I am currently working with to help to promote their books on Amazon. Well, one of the things we wanted to do as an added bonus for them is to be able to bring that to life once a week. And we're doing it on not only the Amazon Live platform, but also on all of our social media. So as I mentioned, Facebook. If you go over my LinkedIn, you'll see the same video. Our YouTube, we're live on YouTube right now, and we're about to join also with our Instagram audience. I have it all set up and ready to go here. I'm just doing a quick tag, though, for our authors that are featured today to make sure that they know that they are in this particular episode. If you all would like information about how to be featured yourself, you can find that with this video, or if you're joining us on Facebook, you can find it in my cover photo. You guys know we always keep you guys informed as to how you can be a part of what we're doing, not only with Amazon Live, but also, of course, with our other platforms. And this, again, is another great way to be able to do that. So I'm excited about the 12 books I'll be sharing today. Again, these are all books that I have personally read. I'm excited to be able to share them with all of you. They are nonfiction and fiction books. And again, they all are available right now in my Amazon storefront at cyruswebstore.com. That takes you directly over to amazon.com for my storefront there. And again, you all can find all of the books there. Okay, I got all of the authors tagged that are in today's episode. And again, if you want to be featured in an episode, you know what to do. You join our Amazon storefront. That will get you included. Feel free to be able to share this for other book lovers. This show, like I said, comes to you guys now once a week. And it's every Wednesday for those who are joining us live. Of course, the replay is always available. Hello to you, Earl. Hope all is well with you. Darius, I see you. Glad to see you. Mary Ellen, your book is coming up here in a bit. I have everything else set up. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our Instagram audience and also bring in our audience on Amazon Live. And if you have any questions or comments about any of the books we're sharing, feel free to be able to share those. But you all are watching us here on Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live. Glad you all could join us once again. We're simulcasting today's broadcast. We have our friends on Instagram. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube here to be able to share you this week's edition of my Cyrus Webb store being brought to life on the Amazon Live platform. All of the books that I'm showcasing today, you will find in our Amazon store. In fact, the first author, Joe, you're more than welcome. Glad to be able to have you featured here with us. Hey, Paul, I see you over on the Instagram side. Glad you all could join us. Joe Pernitis is joining us on the side on Facebook there. And Earl, I see you over there on Amazon Live. Do your thing, man. I appreciate it, man. You know, trying to do a little bit of something, man, to promote some great books. So I have 12 authors that I'm actually working with this week in my Amazon storefront. You guys are going to be seeing their books featured on the Amazon Live side. If you guys are not following us on Amazon Live, do us a favor. Click over in this corner. If you're on the Amazon side, you'll be able to see where you can follow us there. If you're joining us on another platform, you notice a link that is with this particular video presentation. You can be able to go there to head over to Amazon to make sure that you are following us. One Flow, I see you over there. Glad to see you. Amanda, thank you so much for being with us on the Instagram side as well. We're going to go ahead and get started. Today, though, we are celebrating 12 books that I think should be on your reading list. These are all books. Hey, Steve, glad to see you, man. Congratulations on your new release, Dads, as well. These are all 12 books, so that I have had a chance to be able to read. The authors are working with me to be featured in their Amazon storefront. Glad to be able to showcase them here on the Amazon Live platform, as well as on our other social media sites once a week. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you're joining us on the Amazon Live side, I'm going to be going in the order that they are featured right now in the carousel. So the carousel, if you guys are joining us on your desktop or laptop, you'll notice it below. Also, if you're joining us on your mobile device, you'll see it on the side. The first book, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, is Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. You all can see it there. It's by Mary Ellen Saganovich. Now, let me tell you what's great about what Mary Ellen does. If you guys follow her on any other social media platforms, you know, Mary Ellen shares her truth of the day. She also has some great segments that she does on other forms of social media. In her book, though, what she's able to do is to share with us some great messages as well. I'm just going to randomly just open Mary Ellen's book up and pick one and share with you just to show you how this book can be read. So the great thing about Mary Ellen's book is you don't have to read it from beginning to end. You can literally just be able to open it up or check out the contents to see what might fit for you. This particular message I just happened to pick up is on page 72. It says, beliefs. What you believe is not necessarily true, and what is true should not always be believed. Look inside yourself. Get in touch with what you know, not what you believe. A belief always includes at least one doubt, and a knowing is a truth. So there you have a message from Mary Ellen. There she talks to you about the importance of what you're able to believe, what you should believe, and doesn't necessarily make it true. Earl, see you over there on the IG side as well. Madeline, good to see you as well. I appreciate you. Prairie Dodgers, good to see you on the Instagram Live side as well. So Mary Ellen Saganovich's book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire, is the first book that we're featuring on our program today. Books that should be on your bookshelf that are also in my Amazon storefront. You all can see it there. At the time we're having this conversation, you can get the print edition for $12.97. That's $12.97. Let's see, who do we have? I think it is Black Boyster or Boyer. I'm sorry about that if I got it wrong, but I appreciate you being with us on the IG side. But again, that first book is Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. That's the first book that we're sharing in our 12 books for this week that should be on your reading list. The next book that's featured in our carousel is by a fellow Mississippian. As you guys know, I'm from Mississippi. In fact, because of the pandemic, haven't left Mississippi actually since March of 2020. But I'm excited about this next author. It is Dennis Perkins. Dennis Perkins' book is called Standing Upright in an Upside Down World. Wow. So let me tell you about this book. So when I first heard about this book from Dennis, I knew it was going to be good for a couple of reasons. One, Dennis is one of those people that is very optimistic, very positive, but he's also a person that doesn't mind speaking what is the truth. And in this book, what he really reminds us of is, look, we all know, because we live in this world too, that a lot of times what is wrong is celebrated as what is right, and what is right is sometimes looked at as being wrong. What Dennis does, especially for people who are people of faith, he tries to get them to see the obligation that we have to be able to say what is right and what is wrong, and then to be able to stand up for what we personally believe. Is it always easy? We know it is not. But what Dennis tries to get us to do in his book, Standing Upright in an Upside Down World, is to realize that we can do it. He gives some real life examples of others who have done it. And that shows us too what we're able to do. And that is what makes Dennis's book so good. I want to make sure that we have Dennis tagged on the Amazon Live side, as well as on the Facebook side as well. Because I want you guys, if you're not following Dennis, to make sure that you guys do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we have him tagged there. Also, make sure if you all are not, if you're just finding out about some of these authors that I'm featuring, when you click on their books at the link, you can find out more information about them there as well. So make sure you all take advantage of that opportunity. I think the other thing I want to say about this particular book by Dennis, and Dennis has several books. So when you go to his Amazon page there, Dennis, I made sure we tag you there. When you go to his Amazon page, you'll see some of the other books. A lot of what he talks about is love, but this book is especially important for those. Hey to you, Anne Marie. Great to see you. This book is definitely great for those who are looking for the courage it takes to stand up for what is right. Again, Standing Upright in an Upside Down World by Dennis J. Perkins, available there in my Amazon store. I have it highlighted in the carousel there on Amazon Live. You all can see it there. The next book that I have that is featured in the Amazon storefront is one by an author that has been great to be able to see her grow and share her own personal story. It is a nonfiction book. The book is called Seminal. Some People Never Give Up. The author is Tina Siemens. So Tina Siemens is the author of this book. You all can see it there. For those on the IG side, I'm going to try to get you guys less ring light there. But there it is for you guys on the Amazon Live side, as well as tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let me tell you about what Tina has been able to do in this book. In Seminal, she shares her family history. And the great thing about her family history is that she's able to show how people have come from very difficult situations and been able to rise and thrive. She also is included in there. We're able to find out a lot about her upbringing and also those who have inspired her. But I think, as the subtitle of the book says, Some People Never Give Up. That is one of the things that Tina has been able to take as a lesson for herself as a young person, but definitely it has followed her as an adult as well. So again, the book is Seminal, Some People Never Give Up. If you guys are not following Tina online, let me tell you the other thing that Tina is doing now recently that I'm really excited about. She's actually doing some readings from her book. So you guys can actually hear her read from the book actually on her Facebook page, as well as her other social media as well. So make sure you all do take advantage of that. I wanted to make sure we had a Tina featured and also tagged on social media as well, so you guys can follow her. But again, here is the book, Seminal, Some People Never Give Up. At the time we're doing this conversation, it is $14.78 for the print edition on Amazon. And again, I have it featured right now in the carousel. For those who are just tuning in, and I see you guys definitely coming in both on IG, on YouTube, we appreciate you. The LinkedIn, thank you so much, as well as those on Amazon Live, thank you, and Facebook for tuning in as we are sharing with you guys some of the books that are featured in my Amazon store this week. These are 12 books that you should definitely read. There is Ruby. Ruby, hello to you. I love what you do and how you do it. Thanks for being you, Si. I appreciate you, Ruby. Ruby, I have a surprise for you coming up. So you're coming in at just the right time. Hello to you, Margaret. I see you on the IG side. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next book, which is written by Dr. Teresa A. Smith. We got to not only love her as Dr. Taz. If you guys are joining us on IG, you can follow her at Dr. Teresa Smith. For those watching the IGTV, we'll make sure that we tag her. Her new book is called Transformation. Hello to you, Melissa. Appreciate you being with us on the Facebook side there. But her new book is called Transformation. So let me tell you what's cool about what Dr. Taz has done. Now, if you look at this book, you'll say, well, that book's not very big. And it's really probably a good thing that it's not very big, because it's very powerful. What Dr. Taz does in Transformation is she reminds us that anything that requires us to change can be a challenge. In fact, the first chapter talks about change is challenging. But she gives us examples to know not only is it possible, but in many cases, it is necessary. She goes on to talk about our mindset and the different things that can kind of help us to stay the course, to make sure that we're not missing out on the goals that we have, and then being able to stay consistent along the way. So she shares a bit of her own personal story, but also she shares some other great examples that I think you'll be able to take a look at and see, you know what, this is something I actually need. I actually want to read something from the chapter. Literally, as I mentioned, the first chapter on the Instagram side, I think it's going to be switched for you guys. But on the Amazon Live side, I want you guys to see the first chapter is literally called Change is Challenging. And this is what she writes. For those who have the print edition of the book, it's $8.99 at the time we're doing this conversation right now. On page 5, she writes this: change requires us to accept that we are not perfect, that we've likely made some poor decisions, and our behavior may not have always been productive, and that we are ultimately responsible for our outcomes. Change is a developmental process that requires taking accountability, facing our demons, and setting pride aside. Without this process, humans become stagnant. And in that way, she really sets the stage for this book, which is what makes it so powerful. Mary Ellen, you're right. It is a great book. Prairie Dodger says, I like her. It really is a great book. And if you guys are not following her, definitely make sure you guys do that. But again, the book is called Transformation. Again, at the time we're having this conversation, it is $8.99 on Amazon in my Amazon storefront. Again, for those who are just coming in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm sharing with you guys 12 books that should be on your bookshelf and on your reading list. These are all coming from my Amazon store that I have through Amazon.com. Today, we are featuring the 12 books, fiction and nonfiction, that I have the opportunity this week to be able to promote and to support. And the next book is one that is just recently out in paperback. It's written by someone, we have her comment featured right now, and that is Ruby C. White. It's called Resilient Heart. You all see it there. A really good book. And let me tell you why I say it's a really good book. Ruby has a lot of courage because Ruby has gone through a lot in her life. I'm sharing it for our IG family now, but also going to bring it back over to Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So this book is a nonfiction book. It is about Ruby's life, the things and challenges that she went through as a young person, but also as an adult. One of the things I've mentioned in my review on Amazon is that Ruby had a decision to make. She was either going to be confined to a situation, basically imprisoned by her circumstances, or she was going to make the choice to be able to do something better for herself and her family. And fortunately, Ruby was able to choose the latter. And she was able to realize that she could not only be resilient, but could also thrive through the situations that she was going through. It's a really powerful book. Again, it's a great example of, I think, the power of the human spirit, but also why it's so important for us to always keep our faith and not to give up on ourselves and what we are able to do. Ruby's situations was not easy, but she was able to move forward and to do some great things as she's continuing to do today. And now we're able to see it in her book, Resilient Heart. I'm going to show it for you guys here on IG, then bring it over here to Amazon Live, to Instagram, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. Again, the time we're having this conversation, it's $7.99 for the Kindle edition. You can also get the print edition as I have. I had gotten the Kindle edition first. If you guys joined us when we were on for Read a Book a Day, we actually just had the Kindle edition at that point, but now it is out in print and you can get it for yourself on Amazon.com. So definitely take advantage of that. We're going to switch gears now to a fiction book, even though there is some truth and some great messages in it as well. It's by Rosalind Kachuk. The book is called The Memory Lingers On. You're going to see it there on the Amazon Live side as well as IG. And there it is for you guys on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. So let me tell you about this book by Rosalind. The main character in this book is someone named Anna. And Anna is able to share some great messages with her daughter. One of the big lessons, though, that I took away from this book, and this is not spoiling anything from taking it, from giving it to you guys here, is that all of us, as we're going through life, hey, Courtney, good to see you, man. We're going through some of the books, Courtney, that are on my reading list right now and featured in my Amazon Live store that I'm sharing with you guys on the different platforms. But the great thing about what Anna does in this book is she reminds us that life is meant to be lived. And quite honestly, Anna deals with some challenges herself, which is another great thing about this book. Hey, Aretha, good to see you. She deals with some challenges herself, but that does not stop her from appreciating life and what life has to offer. And that is a great lesson for all of us. So The Memory Lingers On by Rosalind Kachuk. It's available right now. Let's see, it's $13.99 at the time that we are doing this conversation. And all the books that I'm sharing with you guys today, you can read my reviews also on Amazon as well. Definitely worth you taking a trip. Again, this is a novel, but there's a lot of great messages in it. I think you'll definitely take something away from. We're going to switch gears again now as we're going back through my carousel on Amazon Live. And again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about when I mention my carousel on Amazon Live, if you're joining us on the other platforms, you'll notice a link that is with this particular broadcast. That'll take you over to my Amazon Live broadcast on Amazon.com. For those who are watching me on that platform, they're able to see all of the books beneath me, and they're able to click on them as I'm talking about them, to read more about them and to get their own copy of it. Now, if you're not going to do that live, that's fine. Even after you go, if you're watching the replay or later, you can always click that same link. It'll take you over and you can get any of the books that we're talking about today. But the next one is actually written, it's the first book written by a good friend of mine. I know her as Lisa G, but the book is written under her name, Lisa George. It's called Celebrating Life, Celebrating You. At the time we're having this conversation, the Kindle edition is only 99 cents. 99 cents. I have the Kindle as well as a print edition of the book. So let me tell you about what Lisa's done in this book. It's very timely. She released it this year. And the book takes us through what many of us have lived through, and that is the pandemic. But it's so much more than just about life during the pandemic. It really is about life in general, and how a lot of times we're so busy thinking about other people that we do not think about ourselves, and giving ourselves that pat on the back, and even being able to give ourselves credit for what we've been able to do. And that's one of the things that she has been able to do in this book. There's a passage I had actually read with her when she was on Amazon Live with me. And it's one of those passages I think that looks at life and looks at self. It's in the chapter called Mirrors. And for those who have the print edition of the book, it's found on page 20. There, Lisa writes this: as I'm always looking to become the best version of myself, I examine this campus and, of course, myself. Part of this becoming involved therapy, implementing learned skills, having vulnerable conversations with others, looking into the world for guidance, talking to my classmate, and getting quite a lot. There is so much growth, wisdom, and more in the quiet space. I love it there. All that led to looking at our campus through a different lens and adjusting the focus as time moved on. I'm still looking and adjusting. Of course, I cannot tell you all that it will be, nor can I fully explain how things came together. But I can tell you that in 2020, I saw the enhanced version of our campus, and I love the evolved version a lot. And that is one of the things she does. She chooses to look at the world differently. Tessa, hello to you. Glad to be able to see you. Yes, here I am. And we're kind of simulcasting this today, Tessa. We're on Amazon Live right now, as well as on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, as well as on IG, talking about 12 books that should be on your reading list. And now I'm talking about Celebrating Life, Celebrating You by Lisa George. If you guys are Kindle readers, you can get this for only 99 cents right now, or you can get the print edition as well. There's only one book that's on this list that is not in print on Amazon, and I'm going to be getting into that a little bit later. But I want to say something. One of the things that Amazon has done to make it very easy for you all, let's just say this is a book that you want to read, and it's not in print on their platform. It's only the Kindle edition. Well, just to remind you, you don't have to have a Kindle, even though I have mine here, and I have it in the carousel that is on my Amazon Live side. You don't have to have a Kindle like I do. You actually can just download either the Kindle for PC, it's free. You can do the Kindle for Mac if you are a Mac user. You can also do the Kindle that you can be able to use on just your phone as well. So keep that in mind. You don't have to have a Kindle just to be able to read a Kindle version of your favorite book. A lot of times, of course, you can get them for very good prices. Like I mentioned, Lisa's book right now is only 99 cents. If you'd rather pay that to get the paperback edition, you can be able to just to download the Kindle version of whatever platform you're on, whether it's PC, whether it's Mac, or your phone. You can be able to download that to be able to read your favorite book. I wanted to bring that up because even though the Kindles are at a great price right now, if you don't want to get those, you can still be able to read these books that are available in the Kindle edition. All right, the next book I'm going to highlight that's next in the carousel is A Necessary Explosion by Dan Burns. And I've said it before, Dan is someone I've known for years. Got a chance to meet him for the first time when I was taping some episodes from my TV show, Cyrus Webb Presents, in Chicago. My first and only time in Chicago was in 2019. He was celebrating another book at that point that's available on Amazon. But A Necessary Explosion is this new book that's out this year. You guys can see it there. Beautiful artwork on this too. But let me tell you the thing about Dan. Dan can write anything. I've said this to him, and I've said it to other people too who've asked me about him. Hey, Tamika, thank you so much for joining us there on the Facebook side. But let me tell you about A Necessary Explosion. So it's a book of poetry. Now, I would say, I'm not going to say it's nonfiction, but there are a lot of great messages in this book. There are a lot of great stories in this book as well, but it is written in poetic form. So you do have that gift from Dan. Dan has been known for writing some great novels. Also, he's written some great short stories, but now he has his first book of poetry that's out now, again, called A Necessary Explosion. I have the paperback edition you all see here. It's available in paperback, hardcover, as well as a Kindle edition. But it is a really great read, and he's a talented author. So again, when you head over to Amazon to take a look at it, you may want to also look at some of the other books by Dan. You will not be disappointed. He's really good. Now, the next book is making his debut in our Amazon storefront, and he's on our list because he has booked a segment for Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live, and I'm excited about this book by Brian Nelson. It's called Choose Life. Now, look at that cover. Is that not a great cover? Brian Nelson, again, is making his first appearance in my Amazon storefront. I think he's just finding out today at the time we're having this conversation. But I want to tell you about this book. So this book is a novel. It is a novel. Hey, Pam, good to see you. Glad to be able to see you there. This book is a novel. However, what Brian has been able to do is to be able to, I think, to take real world situations and real life examples of how our actions can have consequences and show us what can happen with that. And he tackles a lot of the big stuff here as well: bigotry, racism, being able to forgive, what that looks like. And I think, that is one of the cool things about this book. Again, it is a novel, but it's still ripped from the headlines. And one of those things, hey, Madison, good to see you, man. It is one of those books that will definitely make you think. It's entertaining, it's engaging, but it's definitely thought-provoking. Again, Brian Nelson is the author, making his debut on my Amazon store literally this week with his book, Choose Life. Also, look for Brian. He's going to be on an episode of Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live coming up really soon. Looking forward to that. The book is $10.34 at the time we're having this conversation today. So you can definitely be able to get yours there on Amazon Live. All right. So the next book that I'm going to be highlighting is, again, books that are in my storefront, books that I think should be on your reading list, is by Tony Lindsay. Now, Tony is actually double dipping in 2021. He's released 2 books. I'm highlighting this one because I think it will reach the widest audience. It's called Chess, Not Checkers. Now, if you're familiar with Tony Lindsay, and this book right now is $15 at the time we're having this conversation, but if you're familiar with Tony Lindsay's work, Tony's another one of those. I mentioned with Dan Burns, he can write anything. The same can be said about Tony Lindsay as well. He's written pretty much any kind of book that's out there. He's written short stories and written some great novels. All of them are thought-provoking. And in this book, we're able to meet the character Thaddeus. And Thaddeus is, like a lot of people, trying to find his way in the world. He's trying to find his place where he belongs. And what Tony does in this book is show that life is chess, not checkers. That it really is about being strategic, being mindful, being thoughtful, and not just making these rash decisions. But actually, Tony uses the game of chess to show how all of us, when it comes to life, we really have to be intentional in the way that we are acting. Hello to you, Stacy. Good to be able to see you, my friend. And so this is why I have this book featured. Again, Tony has published 2 books this year. Brian, hello to you. I mean, you're more than welcome. But I think, for a lot of people who are just now discovering Tony, and again, Tony has written lots of books. Again, when you go to his book, Chestnut Checkers on Amazon, you'll see the other books that are there. Definitely check them out because, again, even if Chestnut Checkers, even though I think this is a great book, even though it may not be your thing, I think you'll find a book by Tony Lindsay that you will definitely enjoy. Brian is joining us on the Facebook side there. Brian says, thank you for the shout out, my brother. And you're right. I'm just not finding out about being on the store. Yeah, Brian, since you have a segment coming up on Cyrus Webb Presents, you are featured in the store into your segment. So we're glad to be able to do that, to share it with people. We want people to go ahead and get the book, add it to the reading list. And we wanted to be able to feature it again in our weekly series here on Amazon Live. And those who are joining us on the other platforms, so you all can know about Brian Nelson's book as well. Again, like I said, it is a novel, but it has a lot of great messages that are perfect for the world we're living in today. Guys, we're down to the last 3 books, if you can believe it. The next one is another novel. And I have to say, full disclosure, this book by Dan O'Brien, I have been a fan of Dan and his Lauren Westlake character for quite some time. In fact, I had the honor of actually blurbing this book. You all can see there, my blurb is on the back of this one, so I want to make sure that people knew that. I've known Dan for quite some time, and when he asked me to blur the book, it was an honor because Lauren Westlake, and Dan's another one who's written a lot of, another Dan, but he's written a lot of great books too. Westlake is a combination. So you actually, in this particular book, you're getting not just one of his books, you actually are getting 6 books in this one volume. So you're getting 6 books in this one volume. The first book in the series is Bitten. Great book, really lays the stage for someone like Lauren Westlake, who's our main character, who you see depicted there on the cover. She's someone who's in this battle for right and right against wrong, but also finds herself in a battle of good against evil. She meets a lot of unsavory characters, a lot like we do today, and we're able to see how she's able to navigate the two worlds of what she knows to be right and what might be right to do, which is not always, it seems like, the same thing for Lauren. So again, Dan O'Brien is the author. $5.99 for the Kindle edition of this book, and look how big this book is. Again, you're getting 6 books of the Lauren Westlake series here for only $5.99 for the Kindle edition. You can also order the print edition, again, available on Amazon.com. All right. So the next book we're going to be featuring here in our series is Infinite Stars, and it is by Joe Pranitis, I'm sorry. There you see it there. So this book is great for those who are looking for books. If you're a Star Trek fan, if you're someone who's into intergalactic storylines, this book is going to be great for you by Joe Pranitis. Joe takes us into not only the experience of Starship Lionheart, but also the people who are a part of the ship, the different adventures that they are part of. And also, I think we're able to learn about the characters, too, in a very neat way, too. So it really shows that regardless of whether we're talking about people in space or people on Earth, people are people. How they deal with situations, Joe Pranitis is able to highlight that really well. And so I'm excited to be able to showcase this book, too. Again, that is Joe Pranitis, and his book is Infinite Stars Chronicles Book 2. And you can get it right now, the Kindle edition, for only $1.99. $1.99 in my Amazon storefront. So make sure you all take advantage of that. So the last book that I want to be able to share with you guys is one by a really good friend of mine. And it's something that I have been telling people about. In fact, she and I have been talking about it a lot on Cyrus Webb Presents. And it's by Iris Bowling. The book is called The Aftermath, a Nate Raines novel. You all see it there. Again, it's called The Aftermath by Iris Bowling. So let me tell you what's cool about this book. Now, this one is only Kindle only. So you can only get the Kindle edition of this in my Amazon store. But let me tell you what is good about this. Nate Raines is a character, for those who are fans of Iris Bowling, Nate Raines is a character that Iris has introduced before, but now he has his own series. And Nate is someone, too, who is on the right side, meaning the right side when it comes to law enforcement, but he's also having to deal with the challenges that can come with that job, and how, of course, not everyone shares his own ideas of what is right and wrong, and what he does in situations like that. Now, in a typical Iris Bowling book. There's more than meets the eye for sure. So you're also able to see how Nate deals with other situations, deals with relationships. Also, we get to know a little bit about his backstory too. But this is the beginning of an exciting new series by Iris Bowling featuring Nate Raines. Again, the book is called The Aftermath. At the time we're having this conversation, only available in the Kindle edition. But as I mentioned to you, you don't have to have a Kindle to be able to get it. I have the Kindle edition here. That's what I have. But you don't have to have a Kindle to be able to read it. You can be able to download the Kindle for PC, Kindle for Mac, or for your phone to be able to read it there. So there are the books that I want to be able to share with you all that should be on your reading list. It's a great variety of books, nonfiction and fiction. All of them I have personally read. I've written reviews for. You can find my reviews on Amazon. So I hope you guys found something in there that you'll be able to like for yourself and be able to share with other people. Again, you can find the entire listing. If you're on the Amazon Live side, you'll see them in the carousel. Feel free to click through. If you guys are joining us on other platforms, you will notice the link that is with this broadcast. You can click there to be able to see more information about the books and to be able to add them to your own reading list. And I would love to know your thoughts as well. Again, we are here every Wednesday on Amazon Live with Cyrus Webb Presents, bringing to life my Amazon storefront. If you're looking to be featured in the storefront, you all know what to do to contact me. All the information is on my pages. You can be able to find out how you can be featured in our Amazon storefront so we can help to bring some new readers and new eyeballs to your books. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying enjoy your day, and we'll see you back here next week. Take care.